Hey guys, okay, we're going for content in this one and not visual effects. So, again, close your eyes, open your ears, going for content, not visual effects. Two things to mention that are, well, I'm walking a bit of a global story, and these two things are a little bit of a left and right on the same pair of wings, so to speak. The first one is at Gary Renard. So, Gary Renard's Disappearance of the Universe was my formal introduction to A Course in Miracles, and that happened in 2006. And for those of you that are unfamiliar with Gary Renard's Disappearance of the Universe, in it he speaks about two individuals having materialized out of thin air to join him in his living room and explain to him kind of the crux of what A Course in Miracles is, actually. So Gary got the summary right from the source. And then the source turned him on to the book that already existed, and he became an advocate of the book in After Effect. So in Gary Renard's Disappearance of the Universe, and I didn't have a copy with me at the time, so I asked for help from somebody on the internet, and they told me, I think, that it was page 59. But on page 59, Persa and Gary are having a discussion, and in that, or maybe with Arden, in that he mentions that a perfect person wouldn't necessarily need to come from a virgin birth. And I contemplated that one a long time, and I also turned to the manual for teachers, and it said that one teacher of God is enough. One holy, accomplished, elevated, aware, whatever you want to call it, teacher of God is enough. And I was trying to understand how all of that wrapped into Edgar Cayce and the story of Jesus and stuff like that. And for a long time, I was very thankful to Gary Renard. Very, very thankful. And I'm still very thankful to Gary Renard. Still very thankful. But this, I'm especially thankful. Because I personally had issues accepting the virgin birth of Jesus. Now, I grew up in a Lutheran household. It wasn't overly religious, but it wasn't not religious either. I mean, it was actually pretty cool. My mom took me out to church on Sundays, and my dad would laugh as we were going out the door and say, why do you go to that nonsense? And so in church, when I was having trouble staying awake and I felt guilty about the collection dishes and stuff like that, I was able to talk to my mom honestly about it. Like, Mom, why are they doing that? And she gave me answers. And then it came time to my confirmations. So at age 12, I guess you got to go through this checklist of extra things to make sure that you're super fully qualified to be allowed back into heaven, apparently, or something like that. Anyway, sorry. Apparently, you can get a lot of money when you're confirmed as a kid. And I'm talking like $1,000. So on those grounds, I decided to give it a try. But I quickly realized that the pastor had actually no idea what he was really talking about. And he couldn't answer my questions. And they were real simple questions, and I can't remember them now, but I'm sure that any 12-year-old could ask the same questions. So I apologized to my mom, and I said, Mom, I understand this is, I can get a lot of money from this, but it's just making no sense for me to continue. So quit those. So I didn't really grow up in an overly religious household, but it was religious enough for me to know that. What were we talking about again? Gary Renard. Jesus. Right. I was having trouble believing that the birth of Jesus was real. And what amazed me in recollection, in thinking about this in the past now, I only read Gary's book for the first time in March 2006. But I read Edgar Cayce's stuff long before that. And in fact, he had a whole CD-ROM of all of his readings. I had that already in 2005, before I had Gary's stuff. So I mean, forget all the readings that you can get free on the internet. I had all of the readings available to me at home. And if I was really bothered by the Jesus birth, then I for sure would have searched that one up. And what did Cayce say about Jesus? And the funny thing is, I actually remember reading from Edgar Cayce that Jesus did have a virgin birth. And then I also remembered reading that Jesus' mom also had a virgin birth, and they were part of the Essenes, and the Essenes means the expectation, and so they were fulfilling the prophecy of the expectation by allowing that to become a channel for it. And Anna, who's Mary's mom, had a virgin birth, so that people would start to understand that the idea was even possible. Nobody believed Anna. Definitely nobody believed Anna. But when Mary said that it happened to her too, then people had no choice but to start to believe it, because now it had happened twice in a very short time. So that's actually what's part of the Immaculate Conception of Jesus. Other people have been born from virgin births, but I think that was the only time that what Cayce was referring to as having been twice born from a virgin birth. So that's what Immaculate Conception actually refers to. Just so that we're clear on that. And I don't think that the church fully advertised the fact that Anna was a virgin, and I think they just maybe forgot about it in their records. But it would definitely support their story of the Virgin Mother, although then is it the Virgin Mother or the Virgin Grandmother that you have to worship? And that kind of just paints a line to say, you're going beyond the body there, so maybe they just cut that line off because they wanted to stick at the body. But we can just, for now, we can say, Gary, you are very correct that a perfect person would not need to come from a virgin birth, but did anyway, because it was still an option. And that would have helped me out a little bit, I think, there. Just, bringing it full circle, helping me accept it. There was one other note I wanted to add about Edgar Cayce. One of the other famous quotes of Edgar Cayce is about blueberries. So you're going to hear it here first, okay, folks? You're going to hear it here first. If you know Edgar Cayce and the blueberries, you're going to hear it here first. So Edgar Cayce is quoted as saying, one day, somewhere, maybe sometime, somebody's going to figure out what those are really used for. And we're talking about blueberries, the kind that you buy in the store, just blueberries. And I remember a while back, I love blueberries. I ate 7 kilos of blueberries as I was feeling an incipient cold coming down, and it just burned it right out of my system. After that, I was hooked on the idea that the blueberries were good for antioxidants and this and that, and whatever other bullshit I was brainwashing myself with. Well, last year, I lost a little hope in my life, and I decided that it was against the rules to actually hurt yourself. However, I still have the choice in believing whether or not my body needs food. So I stopped eating, and I stopped eating for 37 full days. Okay, 37 full days, didn't eat. And then I had the experience I was looking for, a little bit of reassurance from above, so to speak. But the most amazing thing was that on the 38th day there that morning, my energy level was totally fine. My water, I was drinking about this much water, and that was only just to keep my mouth wet. It wasn't really for any other reason. I was severely dehydrated, according to the doctors, when I finally made it to the hospital. But my energy level was totally fine. Totally fine. The only differences were no longer needed to poop, no longer needed to pee, and belt sizes definitely shrunk by a lot. So, but otherwise, energy levels were just fine. So I was in the middle of cooking for, my wife teaches yoga, and she had a bunch of students come over, and a couple of them had ordered chicken wrap. And so I was making the chicken wrap. I was in the middle of cooking. And so after I had gotten the inspiration from above, I asked my wife to go out and buy some blueberries. And in Taiwan, at 2 o'clock in the morning, yes, it's possible to get fresh blueberries at a fresh grocery store, despite the fact that nowhere in Taiwan blueberries are actually grown, I think, which is quite a feat, 2 o'clock in the morning. So my wife comes home with literally 11 kilos of 2 blueberries and some milk. So I have 2 glasses of milk, normal glasses of milk, and 2 kilos of blueberries, which is actually not that much. 1 kilo is 2.2 pounds, 2 kilos is 4.4 pounds. It's like a coffee pot, like this many blueberries, okay, over 3 hours. So this many blueberries, whole pot, not just the coffee inside it, and 2 glasses of milk over 3 hours. That's all I had after 37 days of no eating. Pretty sure it wasn't the milk, but in the middle of cooking, I lost complete motor response of my limbs. I was laying like a duck on the kitchen floor. Just suddenly, boom. Just suddenly. So I can guarantee you one thing. I'm pretty sure it wasn't the milk, and I didn't have anything else in my system, so it was definitely the blueberries. They're a paralyzing agent, a paralytic. So, there you go. The Edgar Cayce mystery on blueberries. And in another video, I actually told them how to fix all the Edgar Cayce material so that it's in line with the source material of the course. But anyway, tips of the morning to you. Content, not picture. And Gary, love you. Thank you. Reality TV show candidate,